You want to talk about the mummy that used to hang on the wall of a Laurinburg, North Carolina funeral home for 60 years that everybody called Spaghetti? So in 1911, a carnival was setting up in McCall, South Carolina, which is just on the border of North and South Carolina. And it is where people in Laurinburg would go to get quickie weddings and buy booze and get fireworks. Basically, whatever you wanted to get into, you can get into in South Carolina, which, you know, still is sometimes true. But anyway, a carnival was setting up there in 1911, and one of the musicians was a man by the name of Concetto Farmica. He was 23 years old, and he got into a fight with one of the strongmen performers who bashed his brains in, and then he died. At no point have I ever implied that this is a fun, happy story. Just by the way, there's nothing good about it. It's a bad story, and it's gross. So Farmica was taken to the McDougal Funeral Home in Laurinburg, North Carolina, where his father put in a down payment on behalf of the family and said, hey, we are Catholics. We are also from Italy. I need to check with the family to see if the body of my son needs to be sent back to Italy. So the McDougal family made preparations for all of this and then never heard from the family ever again, and they held onto the body until it mummified because they had preserved it. And then, because it was 1911, they just went ahead and tied a rope under Concetto's arms and hung it from the wall. And then, because they were from North Carolina and they couldn't pronounce Concetto Farmica, they just started calling it Spaghetti. And then they started inviting their friends to come see. And soon word spread about the mummified corpse that was hanging from the wall at the McDougal Funeral Home. And it became a roadside attraction that people would come to visit from around the state. And this went on for 60 years. Eventually they moved the body into a display case, and people would just go visit the mummy in Laurinburg. Until 1972, when a local politician said, enough, this is kind of racist. This is super morbid, super disrespectful, and he called enough attention to the mummy and to the McDougal Funeral Home that he was able to raise money and get a plot of land where Concetto is still buried today. However, this went on for more than half a century, so there are still so many old-timers that remember loading up the car and going to see Spaghetti hanging on the wall. You know, just something to do with the kids on a Sunday afternoon, go see a corpse that's hanging on the wall. Anyway, yeah, now you can go visit his grave. Rest in peace, finally, Concetto.